So we're going to program task one. I'm going to at least start it. And I've opened up my Python. If I can show you that. There we go. There's my Python. And what I'm going to be doing is starting off task one. As I said, task one is basically we need to add in, if we can see task one, write a program to use arrays to store the item code description and price. Now, you might want to have a think about this, because actually if you see it says here to store the item code description and price, which is those three, but they haven't said category. So I'm immediately thinking, I wonder if that's an error, or they for some reason have left that off. So I'm going to actually add the category as well. And it's okay to add extra stuff to any of your programs, so don't worry about that. If you're thinking, oh well, they haven't asked to do that, but if you're thinking, well, I want to do it anyway, that's fine. The whole point of all this is that you do the minimum, but you can add things to it and embellish your code in any way you want to. So always remember that. And obviously, for example, it doesn't say use a user interface like a Windows program to do this, but if you wanted to do that, you could do it. But we'll just stick to the basics because we just want to make sure that we've got, a working answer ready for the exam. So yeah, we're going to need 4 arrays. And the way that we're going to do this is we're basically going to have 4 arrays, one for each column in this. And the way that we do it is we use the index of the array, the position of the array here. That's that first one there, if I can get it. Oh, it keeps them. It's really tricky. There we go. So if we look at that, for example, that where I've highlighted is item number 1 in the category column. And that's actually going to be index 0. So hopefully, if you're watching this video, you already know about indexes in arrays in Python and that they are 0 indexed arrays. And I'll show you what I mean in a minute. But let's create our 4 arrays first. So we need 4, category, item code, description, and price. So for my first one, I'm going to call it category, and it's going to be, basically going to have text in it. So if we go back to my text, we've got 2 cases, 3 rams. So I'll put case, in quotes, and then we've got ram, and ram. Very easy to miss out commas, etc. here. So we've got case, ram. Then we've got main hard disk drive 3 times. So let's see if I can copy that. Actually, that might save me a bit of time. Hopefully, yeah. Main hard, that has, yeah, good. Main hard disk drive. That's 3 times. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and just while I do this. Do that twice more, and I'm going to do a carried return, and so that's 1, 2, 3, and then we've got another one which is a solid state drive, so that's going to be added here. And obviously code this along with me. You can also, if you want to, pause the video whenever you want to help you. There we go. Second hard disk drive. So this takes a little bit of time. It's a bit painful for you to watch. So you might want to skip some of it if you're doing this yourself. 2 hard disk drives. What else have we got? We've got 3 hard disk drives. So another one, and then we've got optical drive. I'm just going to optical drive twice, and then we've got, what else have we got? We've got operating system. Okay. So once we've got that, it will be our first array done. There we go. So we close our bracket off. Don't forget to put the closing square bracket. And that is our first array done. So as you can see, it's basically the contents of that category column. And we've put it into an array there. Okay, so then we can do the same with item code. Just do exactly the same. I'll call it item code, just no spaces, remember. Item code, and that is going to be, oh, we've got A1, A2, B1, B2, B3. Not quite sure why they've got these. It's a bit strange. But as you can see, these are text. I'm not, at this stage, obviously, as I said in the previous video, I'm not, I'm coding this without coding it before, if you see what I mean. So I'm thinking, I'm not quite sure why they've labelled these A1, A2, B1, B2, etc. They don't really have any bearing on what they're representing. So I'm not quite sure why they've done this, but we'll see. See what pans out. And we might not even use these. That has happened before where, you know, they've put stuff in here and, you know, and I'm thinking, I'm not sure what's going on here and we don't need it. Now we've got D's. How many D's are there? 2 D's and then 3 E's. E1, E2, E3, and then F's. We've got 2 and then 2 G's. F1. F2, G1 and G2. Don't forget to close your brackets off with another square bracket. So that's our item code column. And as you can see, you know, the whole point of this is we're going to be using this to reference different items. This is the first one, case. Case is index 0. This one is index 1, index 2, 3, 4, etc. That's index 0, index 1, etc. So the next one is our description. So I'll do descript. I'll just put desk like that. Close, open up our brackets, and we're going to have, I'm going to copy these. We've got compact, tower, (8 gig, 16 gig, 32 gig). And then we've got 1 terabyte HDD. Then we've got 2 and 4. I'll just paste the 1 in and change it to a 2. And then 4. Oop, there we go. And then we have got 240 gigabyte solid state drive. So just remember, for those of you who, this is a bit of revision for you for the theory, remember that a solid state disk drive is a disk drive with no moving parts. A main hard disk drive will be a magnetic drive. So a quick recap on some of your theory there for the exam. And I'm going to do that on the next line so that we don't lose any. So the next one was a 480 gigabyte. So just change that to 480. And then we've got 1 terabyte hard disk drive. So this looks like it's exactly the same as the other. There's 4 of those. So I'm going to copy this here. And then we've got DVD, Blu-ray player. And again, revision for your theory. DVDs, Blu-rays are optical drives, and that's a rewriter for the second one. So it's not a player, it's a rewriter. There we go. Remember that optical drives have lasers, and the DVDs have a red laser. and Blu-rays have that blue sort of violet one, which is why they're called Blu-ray, funnily enough. Okay, so nearly there. Last one, my sneaky revision for you. And then we've got standard version, professional version. Just trying to copy that. Standard version. And I'll just put professional version. Okay, so close our array off. That's our third array. And then finally, we have got our prices. So with our prices, as you can see, for the other arrays, we've put these all in quotes because it's text and strings. But our prices, we're going to have to want to put those not as quotes. We want to put them as numbers, as floating point numbers, okay? Because we're going to do maths on them. And if you can remember your very basic data types in Python, we need to not use quotes like that I've just done. And we're just going to copy those. So the first one is 75. 75. I mean, these are all dollars, but it doesn't matter. Then we've got 150, 79.99. 79.99. Then we've got 149.99, and then 299.99, 49.99, 89.99. $129.99, $59.99. I know this is a bit tedious, but this is the most tedious bit. $119.99. Always, this data entry is always a bit tedious. $49.99, and then we can get to the interesting stuff. Sorry about all the background noise. Noisy people with car exhausts that are noisy. $89.99, $129.99. $50. It's very rude of them. They really should have more efficient, quiet vehicles. 100, 100, and the last one is 175. Okay, right, so that's all my prices entered, and I'm just going to save this and run it and check that I've entered everything correctly. You might find if you do get errors, just check that you haven't left off a comma in any of your arrays and you haven't left off a quote. Every start quote needs an end quote, etc. So I'm just going to save this and run it, and let's see what happens. Okay, so I've just saved that and run it, and amazingly, I haven't got any errors. But if you do, just like I said, double check that you've got everything, all the commas in between the text, and you've got your start and end square brackets. And now we're ready to move on to the next part of task 1.